I so badly wanted to be a garbage man. I used to stand on the corner at the bus stop waiting for Miss Nichols to bring the bus around to take me to school, and I would watch on garbage days the guys jump off of the bumper. Remember when they used to hold on to, run over to the toter? During summer, I would follow the garbage truck, the garbage men, and I would talk to them as they walked the curbs on either side to take the toters and watch. I'm Nathan, and it's real. Do you all remember the garbage trucks? Not the fancy ones with the claws. The claw. They used to do all these really cool tricks with the toters, the really seasoned guys. I wanted to be a garbage man. I remember going home and I told Mom, I want to be a garbage man one day. I wanted to stand on the bumper. I wanted to hold the metal handle. And she said, Nathan, salt of the earth, mother, maybe, think of something else that you could possibly do. And it was then that I got the itch for magic. Remember the magic specials that came on ABC, Lance Burton, David Copperfield, the masked magician on Fox who would come out and his mask on and give away the secrets, finally revealing what they were and how to do the tricks. I had my late grandmother would record over her VHS tapes of Saturday figure skating to record these specials for me because she knew I would like them, and I would rewind them and watch and rewatch. There's a Lance Burton special in particular where he is dressed as a Native American in their teepees. I would learn the tricks. I was going to be a magician. I was going to travel the world and captivate audiences with my sleight of hand. I got these big magic books. I learned sleight of hand card tricks and coin tricks and close-up magic. My late grandfather taught me a trick. To this day, I promised, and I still have kept that, to not show how to do a particular one. I was going to be this magician. So here we are, garbage man, magician, and I'd always sang. I started singing whenever I got in trouble. Miss Harris's class, music class, I would talk all the time, of course. And as a punishment, I had to go up in front of the class and sing an old hymn. And instead of being embarrassed or punished, I enjoyed it. And Miss Harris thankfully caught wind of that and said to my mother that she was going to help get me voice lessons and piano lessons. And it was then that I got the itch to sing, to be a musician. I began singing and piano lessons at 8 and 10, and that was the start of listening to songs and repeating a song on my CD player over and over again to dissect the different sounds. I had my little Mead notebook and the spirals on the left side, and I would get indentions on my hand as a left-handed from writing poems, because I didn't yet know how to write, so I thought. And I began to record demos. I was going to be the next massive John Cicada, Michael Jackson, Justin Bieber. I was going to travel the world and captivate audiences with my song and story. I went from garbage man to magician to musician, and I traveled and I played sorority houses, and I learned that if you get the pretty girls there, then the guys will follow, and that was how we packed out rooms. I would sell CDs from the trunk of my vehicle. I worked at Starbucks in Nashville, and I would spend every dime toward my first record, A Gentleman's Closure. And it was doing things such as that. It was meeting people that believed in me, like Jody and Sarah. It was traveling and learning the grind that is guerrilla marketing and building an audience and building connections. It was an incredible experience until it wasn't, because from an optics standpoint, I wasn't Justin Bieber status. I felt as if I were a failure. And in 2010, I go back home with my tail between my legs. And it was in that moment, I got a tour of a funeral home. And if I rewind to 8th grade, my late grandfather had died, and we were at the funeral home, and all of my family were looking to this man that had a beard, and he stood with confidence. And all of my family, I remember my brain as a child saying, wow, this man is important, because this group of people, my family, were looking to him, leaning on him. And I began to follow him around and ask him questions. And what's behind that door? What's behind that door of the funeral home? And we get to one particular door, and it's the door that leads to the embalming room. Remember the old blinds? They rattled. They were like aluminum. You can't go in there. What's in there? Deceased loved ones. I remember that moment. And then in 2010, it was as if the child from then was reignited. Sounds weird, perhaps. I guess I'll become a mortician. So I went from magician to musician to mortician, growing 12 funeral homes. And it was during a pandemic that all that I had learned, all of the challenges and the sadness and the wins and the losses and the family that I had built and the families that I had served, it all came to this culmination, if you will. It was this moment where authenticity found you. You found authenticity. Perhaps you were grieving a loss of a loved one. Perhaps you were seeking, what do I do? Maybe you were just trying to pass time. Maybe you were lonely. I'm not sure what brought you, but you came. And I always thought, having gone from what I always thought was going to be the musician, this fame and fortune, and then becoming the mortician, there was this sense of failure about me. But it's amazing that the thing that I thought represented a sense of failure was the thing in which really ignited and captivated an audience. It is this idea, death care, that subconsciously you do realize that you're worthy to be loved, and you do want to know why people celebrate how they do, societies gather as a community like they do. You came for the funerals during a pandemic when it seemed as if there were funerals all the time, and there were. And coming for the funerals, you recognized and realized that there was music. Because for me and my mental health, I went back and turned to the things that helped me along the way as a child and teenager and adult. And it's the music. My mental health was challenged during a pandemic, and a leadership role in a profession where sadness and grief and heaviness and weight were at my doorstep all the time, one phone call away constantly from another tragic event and story. And I turned to what I had always during times of trial, and that was song and writing and recording. You found it. You found the music. It's amazing how man plans and God smiles. It's amazing that the 7-year-old boy standing at the bus stop, wanting to be a garbage man, evolved into this. And there's something beautiful about not white knuckling, because when we learn to just go with it, it's absolutely amazing what can happen. Once you get to where you've always wanted to go, now what, you ask? It's important to enjoy the process, because it's the process, it's the mundane, it's the steps that we had taken or are taking that one day we're looking back on, acknowledging, appreciating, admiring, and missing. I'm Nathan Morris, and I'm me. Maybe you came for the funerals and stayed for the music. Maybe you came for the music and are a little odd and different and weird and enjoy the funeral aspect. Maybe you are here because you feel appreciated, and that is most important. Do good, be kind to people. Realize that you're worthy to be loved and celebrated. Whether you have much, whether you have little, I genuinely meet you here. Maybe you wanted to be a garbage man or woman too. Keep showing up. Don't white knuckle. This world was never promised to be easy and without suffering, but there is victory in that. I'm glad you're here. I'm so glad that life has happened the way that it has. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to click the bell to be notified when I release content like this. If you want more content like this, let me know in the comments below. Thanks for being here.